Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So you may be able to tell I'm not feeling too well right now. I actually just vomited, and what led up to the vomiting is a big problem in my life. I have a very addictive personality, and lately the subject of my addiction has been the art projects, of course, right? And the addiction problems in my life really pigeonhole my life because usually my life revolves around two things: the things that I'm addicted to and the things that I have to abstain from because I'm at risk of being addicted if I get involved with them, right? So for example, 3 months ago I decided I was going to temporarily stop using caffeine. What had happened was I had ordered some art supplies to work with, and it was very sensitive, needed steady hands to work with. I was anodizing tantalum to draw on it, and I wanted to have some steady hands. And I'll let you pause the video to think what happened. Well, getting off the caffeine at first was difficult, but after I pushed through it, I was thinking, how am I going to reintroduce caffeine into my life without going back to where I started from? You got to remember, 4 months ago, I was regularly consuming more than enough caffeine to kill somebody my size. I just had a huge tolerance to it, and it was really messing with my life. I didn't have very steady hands, which is why I stopped using the caffeine. And a lot of times I was very strung out when I needed to focus on things. It was affecting my driving, and what was really nice was during this time I took a road trip. I went to see the solar eclipse, and obviously I had a relatively good trip because I wasn't strung out half the time. And also I needed to hold my camera really still to take the pictures, obviously. And I did really well with that too. My main disappointment with the solar eclipse is I can hardly remember many of the details of the trip. I can't remember that big field that we were in. I look at old photos of, I took some photos not just of the sky, but of the field, and I can't seem to remember. I know I had some good conversations with the locals there, but I can't seem to remember. I was so excited about the eclipse, and I think this is akin to the overview effect when astronauts go into space, right? I've been telling people that I experienced an overview effect. But the thing is, I stopped using the caffeine and I quickly replaced it with an art addiction. And I haven't been sleeping right, obviously, and I just vomited. I think in large part because of sleep deprivation problems. Now, I so much would love to go back to dark baking chocolate, but 1 ounce a day roughly, not 4 ounces plus the drinking a lot of tea, and plus other sources of caffeine, plus caffeine pills when I want to push my art project. That used to be how I did the caffeine, right? Now a lot of people ask me why I don't I avoid various foods, because it's a lot easier for me to do it that way. I'm much happier never drinking a soda or never eating sugar than to try to eat some amount and then have to give up the rest of it, right? Unfortunately, a lot of things in our life don't give us the option of doing that, right? See, I don't use any amount of, unfortunately, here in the Phoenix area, drugs are pretty common. Never touched any hard drugs. I did marijuana a couple of times, right? And I don't like drinking because my face will flush red. It's a lot easier for me to just not touch it, right? Interestingly, I used to play backgammon competitively, and people love to gamble at backgammon. I never had a gambling problem with that. What I did have was, a lot of times the games were out of my budget, which is really a bummer because I really love the game itself. I remember thinking if I ever came into money for some reason, I could play more, although at that point I might develop a gambling addiction, right? Who knows, right? Anyway, So, unfortunately, my life is segregated into two parts, right? The addiction that I chase and the stuff that I have to abstain from because otherwise I will get addicted to it, right? This is a Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.